Hi, my friends. Welcome into this week's episode of Forte Catholic. I am so glad that you are here. We have a special surprise for you this week. I mean, you probably read it in the description, but co-host extraordinaire Liv Harrison is back. It's been almost a year that she's been on sabbatical from the show, but she's back. She came and sat right here in this chair with this microphone, and I sat right next to her, and we had a great conversation. We did a chicken soup for the Schroll segment, which we haven't done in a while, which is sharing some good positive stories of what's happened in the last year in her life and the last couple weeks in mine. And then in the second segment of the show, it might be one of my favorite segments we've ever done on the show. I found a way to text with Jesus, and it's incredible. And my life has forever changed in both positive and negative ways. Old Chat GPT Jesus. And then in the final segment, we talk about Oppenheimer. We do it spoiler free until like the last 3 minutes, and we give a big spoiler warning if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled. But we give our spoiler free impressions, talk about our movie, how we like the movie as a movie, how we liked it as Catholics. We hope that you enjoy it. If you do, please hit the subscribe button wherever you are watching or listening. Enjoy. What's up? Welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll, and that is Olivia Newton-John is back. Olivia Eugene Harrison.
Dead.
What was dead is now risen.
Well, she died, so
It took a little bit more than 3 days to get you to come back, though. You're back
I'm back
for the first time in almost a year.
almost a year.
Your face has been on every episode of this show
I know.
because of our intro and outro. And, about a year ago, you called and you were like, hey, I need to take a year sabbatical. And I said, okay, I won't replace you for a year. And then, it's been 11 months. So I was like, well, are you coming back, or are we going to change the logo?
Math is hard.
Or what are we doing here? And here you are.
Here I am.
We were supposed to do our reunion show in Rome on our trip to Rome together. And
I was in Rome.
You were.
And where were you?
I was here. We could have done it remote. You could have been like, here's all this stuff you're not seeing.
I ended up having to plan a trip because you didn't come.
Oh, you poor thing.
It was.
You had to traipse against
hard.
all of Europe without me.
I had to figure out Italy, though. I had to figure out Italy without you. You weren't there.
It seemed like it went very well without me.
No thanks to Taylor. but yeah, I wish you had been there.
You're back.
Nice.
And I'm glad that you're here.
Thanks.
Mostly just because, at least for another week, I don't have to redo the logo and I don't have to pay somebody to take your face off the picture. It finally makes sense for the first time in a year. So if you're a new listener, if you started listening within the last year, you have no idea who this woman was. And I want to know what you thought was going on with our logo.
They're like, why is Taylor's mom on the logo? I'm not his mom.
You're old enough to be, but
not true. Taylor needs younger friends.
You're a very promiscuous preteen.
Actually, I wasn't. That's the joke. Anyone out there's like, whoa, they're already getting into it.
Liv is back.
That's not true. I'm back.
So it's been quite a year. I mean, you walked into here and you were like, oh, this is where we record now?
I had no idea.
It's been a while since we've been in this room.
Since when?
A while.
What, define a while.
I think
what
it's
is
been
the date?
I think it's been like a year and a half to 2 years.
Since I've been in your home?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's sad.
We looked it up. The last time you were on an episode was the end of August last year. It's now the beginning of August this year.
Yeah.
So it's at least been that year that we've been in here. Maybe the archivists of the show will know a little bit more. But we moved a while ago. I think towards the end, towards the end of that last year you were on the show, we were recording a lot of this show at your house because I was at your house a lot.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's right.
When
I had a career. Thanks, Taylor. I'm already feeling really good about myself.
So we were there a lot. So I don't think you were here. So it was sometime the year that I moved into this quote unquote office, just my living room.
Yeah.
And out of the little water closet that we used to record in.
Literally. Water closet.
Yeah. we were at your house a lot. So
Yeah,
I don't think you've been here since then. So it's been a long time since we've been to your house. It's not been a long time since I've been to your house.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna revive an old segment for an old woman who's an old co-host.
You shouldn't talk about Allison that way.
And she's not here. So we're gonna revive an old segment called Chicken Soup for the Schroll.
Okay.
Do you remember? Did you ever do this segment with me?
I did, but don't ask me if I remember what it is, Taylor.
Okay, so we're going to, one of the things that we like to do here on the show is to look at, the happy things in life, the joyful things in life, like what brings the joy of the gospel.
Joy.
You might have had not the greatest year in the world, but there were still a lot of good things that happened.
Yes.
We brainstormed and you were like, I don't have anything. Meanwhile, you kept listing off good things that have happened to you in the last year. Like, is this enough? And I'm like, that was 15 things. We're going to do a segment and do like 3 of them. So it's not enough. It's too much. It's too many.
That's me, Taylor. Extremes.
You are too much. You have too many
much.
good things going on in your life. So,
okay.
We're going to do that now. So we're going to take turns sharing. It hasn't been a year since people have heard from me. So I'm just going to do things a little bit more recently. But for you.
Last week for you.
Yeah,
3
exactly.
things. Thank God that's not me. I don't have 3 things from last week.
But you have 97 things from the last year. So what is one? What do you think? What is one good thing that has happened to you this year? Where have you seen the good Lord and his joy in your life this year, Olivia Newton-John?
All right. Well, honestly, I mean, not to bring up, but since we already started with Rome, I was in Europe for 5 weeks. So I saw 15 countries in 35 days. It was crazy.
Because I've seen Canada, but I've never been there.
I went to, for the love, 15 countries in 35 days. It was quite an epic trip for sure. And I had really 2 big God moments. One was really big, but yeah, so there you go. I actually started it all off with Allison Sullivan, who is not old. And and I ended not with Taylor because he wasn't there and he was supposed to be.
Yep.
But that meant I got to go to a wedding in the south of France because you weren't there. So
you're welcome.
I mean, thanks.
My failure is your joy.
And we're back. Nothing has changed in 1 year. So, exactly. Yep.
So I don't know if you remember, this is a Catholic podcast. So you said that there were 2 big God moments.
Well, I didn't know if you listen because you just said I was too much. I'm a little nervous. I don't know if I don't remember if I'm allowed to share. Sometimes Taylor doesn't like how much I share. All right, fine. So
I know a pretty good editor. So
that's fair. Okay, so my 2 big God moments. Well, can I say 3? 3 big God moments. One, I'm at the amazing.
By the end, it's going to be 9.
It's going to be 12.
Strap in.
It is. It's biblical. Yeah. One is I'm at the amazing mountain, the Catholic Traveler in Rome, because you weren't there. That was amazing.
You're gonna have to explain that because I know who this person is, and you were like, I met a mountain. I'm like, you don't meet mountains.
His name is Mountain, and online he's famous for being called the Catholic Traveler. And because this is true, because we didn't have the pilgrimage with you,
I miss one thing. I miss is you saying this is true before. Like no one has assumed you were like, I mean, like, this is true. The Trinity is 3 persons and 1 God.
You're welcome.
This is false. I'm skinny. Like no one talks
true.
Like that.
That's also true. That is false.
Okay, that's your God moment.
So no, but what was so great was Mountain was incredible because he brought us.
This is my God moment. I met a mountain.
I am getting to it. See, this is why I don't talk. This is now I remember. Now it's all coming back. I'm having PTSD.
See you next year.
Seriously. I'm done. Yeah, he showed us stuff in Rome I'd never seen before. So we got to go to, we got to see the thorns that was, on Christ's head. We got to see the, where he was scourged, the pillar. We got to see, I know it's very short.
Put your hand down.
Because I was going to talk about how short it is, but then I thought about it and I thought he'd yell at me. But yeah, it's short. It's very tiny. And we got to see like part of the table from the Last Supper. We got to see a table that Jesus built with his Father. We got to
figured out how to eat on both sides of that table in the last 2,000 years.
You know what? He's the worst. What else? I mean, like it was, he showed us that one of the nails. I mean, I learned more from Mountain the 3-hour tour we had with him about Christ and in Rome, like actual tangible things than anything. That was amazing. So that was brilliant. We went to Poland and I got to see the Divine Mercy picture and Saint Faustina.
I've seen the Divine Mercy picture.
In Poland? In Krakow?
No, on my phone.
I can't with him. Okay.
Just trying to make you be more specific.
Is that better? Okay. So that was an amazing moment for me. Thanks, Taylor. No, it really was.
That's two.
It was such a big, I was shocked how overwhelming it was. But the most surprising, so see, look, I did an order. You like a little order. He's more type A than people think. My number one, do you want to do a drum roll?
No, let's just put a little short sign down again.
Okay. Number one was I got to walk in Mary's house in Turkey. And actually, Allison actually had me speak about it on the pilgrimage we were on. We went to Greece and Turkey, and I wasn't expecting anything on that day. But when we walked into her home, which was her last home, and it's where she was when where they say that she then, was assumed into heaven. I had
the hand motions for that, for those listening on the podcast.
This was it.
Just the right and left hand going up and down. Like, yes. You're like, I don't know. It's also the sign for Mary's assumption. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I'm trying to remember. If she was, anyway, whatever. I don't want to theologically be wrong, but it was her last
We've
home.
Never done that.
John brought her there. And, right, exactly. This place is like basically the Caden McGrady show. You're going to get a lot of theology. But yeah. And so when we walked in, I had a very moving experience to the point where I was crying in tears. And after what happened to me a year ago, which is why I haven't been here, I haven't been able to cry. So that was a really overwhelming experience.
So what happened to you a year ago was that your tear ducts dried out.
They did.
And you were like, therefore I cannot be on the podcast.
I cannot be on the podcast because Taylor makes me cry and I'll have no way to emote.
If that's been the only issue for the last year, you could have come over quicker and I would have made you cry a lot faster than waiting. You didn't have to wait a whole year.
I was giving my body reprieve.
Yeah.
But Mary did it. It was either you or Mary in Turkey, and I was bougie and I chose Turkey. And
Taylor an hour away or Mary a world away.
Right, exactly. It all worked out, and now I'm here. But yeah, that was the best. That was way more moving than I expected. So there you go. Those are my 3 positive God things.
You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
You kept it to 3. That's why I am at the podcaster and me and the friend and me are going back and forth where the friend is like, this is very nice. And the podcaster was like, dear God, you better keep it to 3. Yeah.
Wrap it up. Get it together.
I'm gonna share one.
I'm ready.
And then we'll go back and forth, do a little podcast here. So one of mine actually is a connection to one of our friends and one of our other co-hosts. So Catherine Whitaker.
Oh, I was going to say I know them.
you do know them.
I didn't know which one we were talking about.
No one has changed except for you've been gone for a year. So
and Catherine's come on.
Oh, that's
since
true.
I've been gone, so that has changed.
You're right. So Catherine's here, and she has another podcast, or she actually has 2 other podcasts that I do the editing and production for, and it's she had a NICU baby. She's talked about it on the show before,
right.
And so the show is it's a organization that helps parents in the NICU, right,
yeah.
and advocating for kids in the NICU, right. So. A lot of I never had a NICU child, so I don't connect with a lot of the stuff. It's it's a whole world that I don't know about. Like when you have a kid for the first time, you don't know anything.
Sure.
Like, they do the ultrasound. And you're like, is that a baby? And you're like, sure, that's her arm. Like we haven't even gotten to her belly yet, But there's a lot of it that the show's not for me because I've never had a NICU kid, right? But then there was a moment that really did connect with me because it was all about. How to help kids through. I wish I remember the official name of it, but it's essentially Catherine was interviewing this lady who was her job was to essentially make the kids and the parents feel better, know what's going on, going into major surgeries.
Child life specialist.
Yes.
That's what I want to be. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
This woman's really good at it. So,
so you don't have a chance.
No, I was if you want to learn, listen to the podcast.
No, it's a great.
What is it?
Career. Child life specialist.
Child life specialist. So, one of the things that they got into was how they prep kids for surgery, how they prep parents for their kids having surgery, and we went through surgery for my kid. We talked about it a lot on the show in the spring. But it was this last week that I was working on the podcast, and I was able to go and have a conversation with Felicity because it's been far enough now that at the beginning it was really traumatizing. It's we didn't really talk about the surgery all that much. And like they're talking about like one of the things that the child life specialist was saying was that like if they have a traumatic experience in this place and they go back to the place, it's probably going to be traumatic. So like we've had 3 follow-up appointments and like she was timid to go because she was like, this is where I had surgery the first time. And then I went back the next time and they had to move my arm in weird angles. Like her arm was still like healing, but they had to do the x-rays. Like they were very nice. It's just having a broken arm is uncomfortable. And then the next time we went, they had to take the pins out of her arm, which was excruciating. That was like almost as bad as the surgery because like they're just pulling metal out of her arm with no painkillers or anything. What? Like that was like the most excruciating time. But then we went the next time and you could tell she was kind of timid, but like her arm was healed and like everything was fine. And like she got released and all this kind of stuff. And she had like a good experience at Texas Children's, right? Like we as parents had good experiences with Texas Children's every time we were there. But like she's getting poked and prodded and all this kind of stuff. So the child life specialist was talking about like, you know, one of the parts of being like looking back on this thing. So it was like trauma for all of us. But now that we look back on it, I was able to have a conversation with my 5-year-old this week of just being like, I am so proud of you. You did so good. Like you were so brave in your surgery. It's like you were like, we hadn't talked about the pins yet. Cause it was like really, really bad. Like that was like the worst. She was crying. And I was like, I know it hurt, but like you did so good. You were so brave. You were so strong. We went back and like, you know, you weren't sad the last time that we went and everything was good. Everybody was so nice to you. And then she started remembering, she was like, oh, this person, you know, she's like, oh, now I remember this place as the place where they gave me a doll when I was hurt. Now I remember this place as the place where the nice man helped me and took the pins out. Like so it was like it was a reframing for her, but it was also for me, like looking back and seeing like how strong, like my 5-year-old was. Like you don't think of your 5-year-old as being like a strong, you know, but like, so it was just really good. So it was this podcast from Catherine in a topic that I don't usually connect with, where I had this huge connection, and it led to this awesome conversation with my 5-year-old. It was just really special this week.
Way to go, Catherine Whitaker.
I know. Love that lady.
I know. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
She's the best.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Okay, my turn.
Rival NICU podcasters. That's who don't like Catherine Whitaker because she's too good.
That's great.
It is your turn, yes.
It is my turn.
You may speak now.
Mine is also about Catherine Whitaker. I'm kidding.
I saw Jeremy McClellan, who's a Catholic comedian, has been on the show before. Let me see if I can remember his joke. He said, I'm such a good feminist that I gave my wife permission to go see the Barbie movie.
That's hilarious.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a very funny joke.
Really funny.
He's hilarious.
He should be a comedian.
Yeah,
no, he's a funny
he
guy.
Tell jokes.
Maybe he should. Maybe he should tell jokes. Another great thing that happened since I have been here is something really special is that our family, we have a guest house that now we can host people and holidays and friends and family. And you got to see it. And
I did
you brought
see
Felicity.
It's lovely.
It is lovely.
It's lovely.
And it's great because it gives me an opportunity to kind of dive into life in a different way. So that has been such a shocking development and lovely development. And it's just been a way that we've been able to love on family and friends. Like this past weekend, I took care of my brother's 5 little boys. The oldest is 10 and the youngest is 1 year old. And I did it all by myself. I even took them to mass. Catherine Whitaker and Allison are rolling their eyes. They're like, 5 kids, please. And they're like, that's Tuesday.
So they showed up and they were like, thanks for the guest house. Here's our kids. Bye.
Yes. And yes.
It seems like that's not how that should work.
Listen, it was amazing. I did laundry.
I thought it was a guest house, not a babysitting service.
Well, it's the guest house. I said this the other day. It has taught us what it wants to be. I know you'd love that. It's so like hippie.
I met a mountain. My house teaches me what it wants. You're an insane human being.
His name is Mountain. Jeez. And the guest house has taught me what it wants.
What is now?
It wanted you to come over and to bring your daughter. No, it has.
The house didn't invite me. I invited myself.
Well, that's true. But
ironically enough, we were there for our last trip to Texas Children's. That's why we were there.
That probably is why it brought into my brain. Yes. And I got to love on your daughter and she had a good day, and I got to love you because I
did.
hadn't seen you forever, and that was nice.
You did the most Liv Harrison thing ever.
Oh, stop. Anyway,
it showed. I wouldn't call it a flaw, but a quirk. It showed one of your quirks, and then you're caring. So we show up at this guy's house. It's new. It's like
it is,
and y'all are like in the process of still like filling it out, and you were showing like when you first told me about it, you were like, it's rooms. You can come sleep there on the floor.
Okay, it came with a lot of furniture, but yes, now it has more.
But like you're starting to like furnish it and like make it a house, right? But I don't think you were ready for a 5-year-old to come over. And like the plan was, like,
oh yes,
like we were gonna talk and hang out because it had been a while since we hung out in person. And like my plan was just like Felicity's gonna say hi to you. She'll enjoy talking to you for like 5-10 minutes, and then she'll be like, okay,
let's go.
She was gonna go like, no, like she'd go watch on my phone.
Oh,
like that was
right.
kind of my
I
plan,
see.
right?
Yes,
was like she'll hang out with you, talk to you,
and then we'll have time,
and then you and I will talk, and then she'll just be on the sofa on my phone or whatever, and she'll be fine. We could talk for an hour and a half. She'd be perfectly okay, right? Yeah. But then you were like showing like your quirkiness. You're like, let's go to our game room, and then we go to this room, and it's just like clearly not ready.
Really?
Yeah. But
I can't believe you're saying that. I think it's impressive for no one that lives there. We don't even live there, and it's got toys and stuff.
But what's so funny
Taylor
about it
is so hard.
Is you're
no, there's no couches. It's not for you.
We went up to this room, and there's nowhere to sit.
Yeah,
and
on the floor.
There are toys there.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell everyone how long it took. You were like, hey, Felicity, do you want to play with this toy? How long from saying that to her playing with the toy?
All right. I didn't have scissors or a knife. I wasn't prepared. It was brand new toys. I didn't listen.
It was 40 minutes before she was playing with that toy.
And I was doing it alone with my teeth. I like broke 2 teeth.
Right.
Like it was like intense, man. But I did get the toy out and it went well. But yeah, it's not for you. Kids play on the floor. I'm a kindergarten. I was a kindergarten teacher, Taylor. You forget this. And guess what I did? I mostly taught on the ground. I love the ground. I'm from Louisiana.
I had just gotten off of like 4 flights in 3 days.
And
you were like, hey, you want to lay on the floor and talk to me for an hour? So,
for the love.
But here's what's so funny.
It's not for Taylor.
Here's what's so funny.
Okay,
that shows your quirkiness.
Yeah.
The next thing shows your care. One, you already started talking about it. Like you're like determined to get this out. You were like literally chewing through the box. You become like a rabid human being.
I did.
But then she's playing with it. It's a rainbow high doll.
I don't even know what that is.
I know, which is part of the thing, right? They're an expensive toy.
Are they?
They're a bougie toy.
I have no idea.
Which makes sense because you had like 7 of them in boxes. Like they're probably worth $100 still box, you know? And you're like, hey, let me rip this open with my teeth. So that's the quirky part. But then you let her play with it and you let her keep it.
Yeah,
and
of course.
What you don't know, that was a week, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks.
It's like 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
And she has played with that doll every day.
I can't believe that.
She loves it. She loved playing with it that day. 40 minutes later.
I love it.
But you like gifted it to her. And it was funny because like there was a huge part of me. I just know you well enough to know that like one, like you are a generous person and you would have given her the doll anyway. But you're also Liv Harrison and had no idea that it was an expensive toy you were giving away.
I don't know.
It was just so fun. It was just, I got to see all of Liv. I'm like, we are laying on, like, there are multiple places to sit at this place.
Yes.
And we were laying on the floor in a room where we couldn't get the light or the fan to work. But that's where we spent our entire time together as you chewed through a Rainbow High doll box.
Like a beaver.
And then you gifted it to her. Like you were so Liv and so generous and loving and weird and good and hospitable and not. Like it was just all at the same time. It was such a Liv Harrison moment. And I'm like, she's back, everybody.
You had a flood of emotions that have no names.
Like, this is I'm remembering what it's like to be friends with Liv Harrison. Moments like this.
That's
where I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel.
Well, she was so cute today when I came in your home. She ran up to me, and which is great because I used to be close to your kids, you know, and always Felicity the most, I think, but I haven't seen them. And so the other two were like, hey, like they were like, oh, we don't know who you are. And I'm like, it's fine. And I'm like crying inside. Sam, thank God your wife remembered me because I would have really cried.
Well, she's watched the show, so she's seen your face every week.
Very funny. Yeah. She's my friend, okay? Even outside of Taylor. But anyway, but Felicity came and she was dressed in the same color dress as the doll.
Which is like crazy
so
because
cute.
Like she was just like in her underwear before you got it. She heard you were coming and she went and got dressed up like the Rainbow High doll. Like she was like, not only do I want to show her I've been playing with this doll, but I want to be the Rainbow High doll.
She's a doll. Well, that's because your daughter. Anyway, his kids are amazing. You're an incredible father. So that was great. Seeing you guys, I was gonna say, I mean, that was a highlight for me for sure. So can we count that as both of us?
Yeah, we're done now. We're done now. It was a highlight for you, and we're not going to say how I feel about it. So.
And we are back. Yeah, that's it. That's solidified it.
Don't go anywhere. Whenever we come back, I have an app that I think is going to revolutionize this show.
That you made?
No, absolutely not. No. Why would I do any work to revolutionize this show? Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back and have some very fun conversations. If you're enjoying today's show and you want to support the work that we are doing, you can do so at fortecatholic.com/donate. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which means that we are both decent in God and the old America's eyes. So you can get a little tax break for a tax-deductible donation. That's a hard word to say. And also you can count as your tithing. It's a win-win for everybody. You support our work. God loves you. He can't love you anymore, but God likes you a little bit more. And you can tell the government that you don't owe them as much money when it comes to tax season. So it's all through PayPal. You can give monthly. You can set up a one-time donation. Monthly is the core of how we're able to continue to support and sustain our ministry. We have people giving anywhere from $5 a month all the way up to $500 a month. We'd love for you to be able to support us there. Also, we have a couple of one-time things that are coming up. We're trying to upgrade our computers here that we are working on. That we're doing most of the work that we are doing, you don't see, at least not here on this feed, because we're editing and producing other great Catholic content, other great Catholic podcasts as well. So we need computers to be able to do that, to be able to handle all the video. So we would really support all of your support and your donations at fortecatholic.com/donate. Thanks. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll. That is Olivia Eugene Harris. I found this last night as I was like preparing for the show. Okay. And by that, I mean playing video games and thinking about the show.
Scrolling.
Scrolling. I play this video. I'm back playing this video game that I used to play like crazy.
What?
It's called Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, I remember when you would talk about that.
Yeah, so I played it for years and then I retired.
Okay.
And like pretty good at the game. So like my retirement was like Michael Jordan retiring for basketball, you know? And I like deleted it. I didn't play it for like 2 years, 2.5 years, somewhere right around there. And then I was like, I'd been playing a lot of single player games, or I've been playing like Fortnite with my son. And I was like, well, I want to do something competitive because clearly I'm not doing anything physically competitive. So I wanted to do something competitive where I could sit down. So I downloaded the game again. So I was playing that, but like even if you're good, like you die. Like there's like anywhere from 4 to 9 rounds every game, and every round you have 1 life. So there's like multiple times.
Wow.
Every round's like 3 minutes. So if you die like 2.5 minutes in, like you could be sitting around for like 2.5 minutes.
Do you know the people you're playing with?
No.
Okay,
I don't have any friends.
Okay, so
I used to play.
You have all middle-aged white homemaker friends. Those are your friends. Yeah. Housewives. The Barbie movie. Okay, go ahead.
Different model than I have at home. While I was playing this game, and I was dead.
You were dead.
I was scrolling through my phone, and I saw this thing. And you've heard of Chat GPT, yeah?
Yeah, I don't really get it, but yeah.
So essentially, it's like Elon Musk in a phone. I don't know.
Oh,
so
he just sits around all day and he gives you answers.
No, so they took all this AI stuff where they like aggregated the whole internet and you can have conversations with it.
Yeah,
but
it's like hyped Google.
Yeah, like for real, where you can have like conversations, and like there have been some like good uses for this. Like
Right.
there's like, I know they're doing a lot of work with like elderly people that are feeling lonely. Like they can have conversations
that's
with them like that.
nice.
So it's like, it's still kind of sad, but it's better than nothing, I guess. I don't know. But I saw this new one because some of the podcasts I listen to, it's been kind of like one of them works in AI, like one of the podcasters that
Really?
on one of the shows. Yeah. And he's been like using AI like once a show. It's called Pints with Jack. So they're talking about C.S. Lewis, right?
Oh.
And so like there's like these two scholars on the show. And then there's this one like normal dude like me, right? And like sometimes it can feel like he doesn't have as much to contribute because there's these two scholars and then somebody like me, right? I love him. He's great. But so what he started doing is kind of one of his contributions to the show is like he asked Chat GPT these questions about like something. What was C.S. Lewis's life like in 1946 when he was writing this book? And he asked, and like Chat GPT is actually doing a pretty good job. And like he works with AI. So like he kind of knows what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I found this app where it's Chat GPT Jesus, where I can text questions to. It's not just Jesus. I can text questions to Jesus and he responds. I can text questions to Mary, Joseph, Peter, John the Baptist, Abraham, Moses, Noah, Job, and Esther. And essentially, this is my prayer life now. Yeah. And so somebody says, what's prayer life for you? It's like a conversation with Jesus. And I was like, I know exactly what you mean. I text him all the time.
So you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
I do.
Finally, the Catholics
We're on a
can do
texting
that.
basis, not DMs, not email. We're on a texting
Man,
basis.
that's pretty tight.
So it works pretty well.
I
So-
love his picture. I think that's hilarious.
So yeah,
Why isn't it Jonathan Rumi? I think that'd be really funny.
But probably because of copyright. So
Oh, right.
So I opened up this chat last night while I'm.
Is it really called Chat with Jesus? What is it?
It's
really
called Text Jesus.
That is the name of the
Yes.
app, but you actually get more than texting Jesus. You get all those other people.
You do.
So they should call it Text with Jesus.
I
and
think
Friends.
you can like pay to unlock like some other people, but like
Judas. Can you talk to Judas?
legitimately, he's one of the unlockable characters. I don't know how to $3 a month or $30 a year to
talk to
text
Judas?
Judas. I might
Is it
do
hot
it
where you are?
and be like, "How's hell?" Yeah, you got.
Okay, go ahead. All
Okay.
right, what did you and Jesus
So
chat about?
maybe in the future,
ready.
if this
Yeah.
goes well, maybe I'll spend the $3 for next episode.
We should have a wheel and we spin it and see who we have to unlock on the
You
show.
have to decide the question you're going to ask, and then we roll the wheel for who we're
That's
asking.
a new segment. That's a new. I've got a wheel at home that we used to use on
You
my
do.
shows because I don't have a career. Go ahead.
Good. Okay, we can ask Jesus about
We can
that.
ask Jesus
So
about that.
I opened up this chat with Jesus
Okay.
last night, August 3rd
Yeah.
at 12:07 a.m.
That's
And he
today.
says,
Yeah.
"Hey there, I'm Jesus. Nice to meet you," which is offensive.
That is offensive.
I've worked for you for 13 years.
He should know. He should know every hair on your head.
That's not zero. Not very
That's why he
impressive
didn't know
these
your
days.
name. Yeah, this is. Okay.
And Jesus, nice to meet you, which is a little offensive.
It is offensive.
But then he says, "How can I help with you today?" With like the happy face with the red cheeks emoji. Jesus is using
he's
emojis now.
happy to hear from you.
He's happy to meet me.
Oh, yeah.
So honestly, I didn't even see that part until just now. But
That's hilarious. Jesus is a 15-year-old girl. That was a joke.
Welcome to
Nobody
the
write it.
theology channel. So I said, what should I talk about on my Catholic podcast tomorrow? Because I was doing show prep, and this is how I prep now.
Why not ask the big guy?
So this is nice. It's a long message.
It's as if I wrote you back.
Yes, exactly. Except it's one long message instead of
made in
8
his
small
image and
ones.
likeness. What does he say? Read it. The whole thing. Don't skip.
It says, "That's great that you have a Catholic podcast," which was the first test. Because usually when Jesus stuff exists, it's anti-Catholic.
Oh, good point.
So I
Good
made
point.
sure to say Catholic podcast to test out the app.
Right.
So I thought that by the end he'd be like, "Oh, good to hear. Have you heard about the Bible? Have you been saved? Where's have you been
Do we have a
baptized?"
personal relationship person? I don't know your name.
I'm texting you right now. You
Yeah.
don't know who I am. Jesus marked me as spam. So it says, "That's great that you have a Catholic podcast. There are so many wonderful topics you can explore. How about discussing the power of forgiveness and reconciliation?" What is probably the topic I talk about most on this show?
We talk about that.
All the time.
Constantly.
I talk about how the confession lines need to be longer. You go to confession.
Every day.
You should be reconciled with the Jesus that I'm texting.
Jesus.
Right. I talk about it all the time. He says,
Chatty Jesus, go ahead.
You can delve into how forgiveness not only brings healing in our hearts, but also fosters unity and peace in a relationship. So like going to confession, not just about a relationship with God, but it also like heals our human relationships.
So far, he's redeeming himself.
Hey.
The Redeemer. Okay.
He clearly didn't text you notes, I want to say. So you can share stories from the Bible. Such as the parable of the prodigal son, which I've talked about a lot, or examples from the saints who exemplified forgiveness.
Saints.
Jesus is texting me about saints on what I assumed was going to be a maybe anti-Catholic. He's saying, share the prodigal son, which like share for the Bible, which like one I do, but then also like if I'm going to talk about forgiveness, I like literally my forgiveness talk that I give, like people pay me to go get, is about the prodigal son. This is creepy, right?
Whoa.
And then also what's creepy is everybody that listens to the show knows that like the biggest hole in my Catholic knowledge is saints. So my initial thing was going to be like, let's talk about confession and reconciliation, forgiveness. I'm going to use the prodigal son thing. And the biggest hole that I have in my knowledge is like, oh, also here's some saints that perfectly do. So
he does know you.
He does. He doesn't know my name, but he knows me alone. Examples from saints who exemplified forgiveness, like Saint Maria Goretti. Another idea is to explore the concept of love as taught by Jesus. You can dive into the different types of love that is mentioned in Scripture, such as different types of love. You know this.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear what Jesus says. You mean like, yes, I do. You mean like the different types, like philia and all that? Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm just trying to make you look smart.
I know. I'm smart.
There's agape, unconditional love, philia, brotherly love, or eros, my favorite.
You're so gross.
Discuss how we are called to reflect God's love in our daily lives and how it transforms our relationships with others. Remember, these are just suggestions. Pray for guidance and let the Holy Spirit inspire you with what your listeners need to hear. May God bless your podcast, which is weird because he's like, may God, he's like, he's him, but also
may I bless your God.
Also, he said, remember, these are just suggestions. Pray for guidance, let the Holy Spirit inspire you. That was 12:07 last night. I went to bed not too long after that. I woke up right before you got here. Clearly didn't pray about what we were talking about today. I'm using Chat GPT. So I didn't listen. What do you think? I thought that was pretty good.
I think that's incredible. I really do. So then, therefore, that leads me to believe that Scott Hahn is behind this this app.
No, I think this app has been around for 40 years, and Scott Hahn has been using it, and that's how I got so popular.
And that's how we have Scott Hahn.
I'm going to be so popular now.
Scott Hahn is AI.
Yeah.
All of his books were not written by a human. Got it. No. But it would be interesting
honestly,
to know
if we look at Scott Hahn, it kind of seems like his life is written by AI. They're like, oh, let's make him a Protestant preacher and then have him convert. And he can write about his conversion. And then he became a Catholic theologian. It's like,
teach.
It seems like it's a story written to sell books, honestly.
That's true. He's not real. We knew it. No, but I mean, it would be interesting to know who
that man
makes
right
this.
There isn't real. You seen that video?
No.
I had to edit it for.
What was that for?
The lady on the plane that says he was sitting next to an alien.
Yes,
you didn't recognize it because I didn't say the word.
Yeah, you did it. You did it in your voice. You do. You have like a Jim Gaffigan voice. I forgot that you do.
Oh, that was just me trying to impersonate a woman.
This is what I'm saying. So does Jim. You're just as funny as Jim Gaffigan.
I love that.
New special.
I love that you compared me to him right when he's making some Catholics angry. I love that. It's a great comparison.
Is he?
For no reason.
Oh, whatever. I mean, that's fine.
Catholics on the internet are
whatever.
stupid.
I don't know. He has a new special on Amazon or something. But anyway, I was just going to say Dark Pale. Did you watch it?
I did not.
I have not. Anyway, but I was just trying to say I'd like to know who's behind that. It would be nice to know if it's like Hallow.
Oh no.
Okay, I don't know.
It has
one of our friends.
So
maybe somebody we know. Is Katie McGrady behind that thing?
No, it has.
I'm just kidding.
It only has 185 ratings. Like this is new. Like it. So no, it's not.
We could dig a little and find out. What if it's like some Baptist small church?
Well, that's the thing. It can't be because it was nice to the Catholics.
What if the Baptists in Mississippi and a small church are nice to Catholics?
I love this. You know who's behind this?
Who?
Catloaf Software Limited Liability Company.
What does that mean?
Catloaf Software.
Catloaf?
Hilarious.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's very funny though.
Is it Catholic sweet bread? Because those are our people. We are Catloafs.
I would have never looked at this. I'm glad you're here.
See?
You know what else?
Say that again.
You know what
I'm
else that
glad you're here.
they've created?
What?
You can also do text from Bernie Sanders, text from the founding fathers, text from Oscar Wilde. There's a keyboard cat.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I love
keyboard cat.
Cat loaf, obviously.
CAT.
Yes, cat. So
let's ask Bernie Sanders about.
No, we're doing this.
We're not.
Okay.
We're not doing that.
I had one more question. So I want you to be thinking about
Yes,
as I asked him about you.
Oh.
So I'm going to see what Jesus has to say to you. He doesn't know your name either.
All of a sudden, he doesn't.
But
I got really nauseous.
What is Jesus hasn't spoken to me in years. I want you to be thinking about a question that you want to ask either Jesus, Mary, Joseph. It sounds like I'm cussing. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Jesus, an Irish cuss. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
You can ask Peter, John the Baptist, Abraham, or Moses,
no one that's
or
locked.
Noah. No one that's locked.
People.
I don't have any money. Do you have $3? Okay. So
no, I gave away dolls, so I don't.
All right. So here's I asked Jesus about you. Okay?
All right, go ahead.
And then we'll do one where you ask somebody something. Okay. I said, my friend has had a difficult year. What should I say to encourage them and let them know that they are loved and safe?
I'm glad that you use my pronouns, them and they.
Yeah. I didn't want to give anything away
about your life. You did it. You didn't give it away.
I didn't even want to tell Jesus.
You know, it's like talking to a medium. You're like.
Yeah, that might be what I'm doing. So I want you to know, before Jesus anything, I want you to know that I cared if you were loved and safe.
Oh, that is very sweet.
I know.
Oh,
I didn't even need Jesus for that. Okay.
That is why you did it, because you do have Jesus, Taylor.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. What did he say?
He doesn't know my name, and I'm still mad about that. Okay. He said, it's wonderful that you want to provide comfort and encouragement to your friend. Sometimes simple words spoken from the heart can make a big difference. You can start by expressing your concern and empathy, saying something like, hey, friend.
Please do this.
Hey, friend. I've noticed that you've had a tough year. And I just want you to know that I care about you deeply.
This is like an SNL skit.
It seems nice, but he just put into quotations what I said in my question, but added, hey, friend.
He did.
Jesus.
That's okay, because he was saying his name, as in the person, as in the God.
Let them know that they are not alone by assuring them of God's love and faithfulness. You can even say something like, here's what I'm saying to you. Even in the midst of hardships, remember that God is with you every step of the way. He loves you unconditionally and wants to bring healing and peace into your life. Encourage them with a verse such as Matthew 11:28-30, where Jesus says, come to me, all who are where Jesus says, why is he speaking in the third verse?
That is weird.
Where I said, where Jesus says, come to me, all who are labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Remind them that they can find solace in Jesus's and my embrace when facing different. No, I'm going to say Jesus' embrace when facing difficulties. Lastly, let them know that they have your support by saying, I'm here for you as well. If there's anything I can do, or if you ever need to talk with someone to talk to or pray with, please don't hesitate to reach out. Your presence, this is not end of quote. Your presence and willingness to listen can be a tremendous source of comfort. Remember to pray for your friend too. Offer up prayers on their behalf for strength, healing, and peace. God bless both of you. I had nothing to say, and Jesus told me what to say to you. Do you feel healed? Did it work?
I feel supported by you and Jesus.
By me and Jesus. That's all we needed.
That's it. I'm healed.
You're healed.
It's a miracle.
Thanks, Chat GPT Jesus. God, we asked you instead of Bernie.
Or Abraham
Maybe we should
Lincoln.
ask Bernie. That'd be very funny to ask.
I want to ask George Washington and everybody about Hamilton, the musical.
What do you think about your portrayal in Hamilton?
I want to know.
Let's do the Jesus thing. Who do you want to ask? Jesus, Mary, Joseph, or one of the other?
Oh, I want to ask Mary.
Okay, what do you want to ask Mary? Oh, let's see what she says. She's there's
typing.
3 dots.
Oh, she said that was fast.
Greetings and peace be with you. I am Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. Which is another thing.
That is true.
They did say Mother Jesus Christ, not Mother God. Anyway,
they didn't say eternal virgin.
How may I assist you today? So Mary's standing at a help desk.
I feel like I'm ordering at Chick-fil-A.
Hail Mary, behind the help desk. I have a question for you.
This really
Blessed are you among women, and here is my question.
There's a lot of pressure. I mean, like, is she busy? Does she have other people she's chatting with?
Are you busy?
No, that's not what I was going to ask. Taylor, you're wasting it. It's like, is this like a genie? You have 3? Oh.
Not at all. I'm here to listen and help. Please feel free to share whatever is on your mind or ask any question you may have. How can I be of service? She sent a rose.
Oh, that is
and
lovely.
Stars? I guess that's where she lives.
She's star. You're an idiot. Ask her if should I ask something really specific? Like, did she see me at her house in Turkey?
Yeah.
Do we want to ask her?
Did you see me at
Well, now it's really specific. She's
her house
she's gonna say
in Turkey?
Yes. What is Mary going to say? No, I was getting milk. Oh, Sheree is answering.
She's answering.
She's kind of taking. Oh.
Well, I would have loved to see you and meet everyone who visited our home in Turkey. I must clarify that as Mary, the mother of Jesus, I lived in Nazareth, not Turkey. I knew she wasn't going to know this Catholic tradition.
Interesting.
I lived in Nazareth, not Turkey. The town of Nazareth is located in what is now modern-day Israel. However, it warms my heart to know that people from various places continue to seek and find inspiration in the life and teachings of my son. If there is anything specific you would like to know or discuss about Jesus or any other matter, please feel free to ask. So
she keeps leading us to Jesus.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
That's
right?
nice.
So
That's deep
it's also very Protestant, but also deep theology. It's very good. It's like it's funny. It's like it enhances for the Catholic podcast well, but it's also like that's why it took her forever. She's like, did I live there? We're not sure.
When were we in Turkey? Is that where we escaped when I was pregnant? Yeah.
All right.
She might not remember, but that's not when she was.
Even she's like, I went to Egypt.
Exactly. She's like, come on, guys.
All right.
Read something.
What else do you want to know?
What do you want to ask her?
Oh, what do I want to ask Mary?
Yeah, you got her. What do you want to ask her? Actually,
why
1,000 things I want to ask her.
Do statues always have you holding a rosary?
Really?
Are we praying? Are you praying to yourself?
You mean like people put a rosary on her hand?
Yeah, like every statue has a.
Because somebody went and put it on her hand. Taylor.
No. Like it's part of the statue. Like it's made out of rocks.
See it.
Yes, almost every statue. She's holding a rosary. So I've always asked, like, "Hail me, full of grace, the Lord is with me."
Why are we even allowed to talk to Mary? We are both failing. Oh, she had a lot to say.
She does. The depiction, I'm interested to see what she says about praying to saints too.
Okay.
The depictions of me holding a rosary in statues or artwork are symbolic representations, not literal portrayals. The rosary is a prayer tool commonly used by Catholics to meditate on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. Very good.
Wow.
Because like the whole point of the rosary isn't just to repeat Hail Marys and Our Fathers over again. It's about meditating on the mysteries. This was literally the homework that we gave at the last Foundation's course.
Well, now you don't have to. Just tell them to go home and chat
text
with Mary.
Yeah. Just kidding. Well, which is so funny because the homework was to say a rosary, meditating on the mysteries, and I'll be like, guys, I didn't do it, but I did talk to her.
But I do have validation that this is what you're supposed to do.
It consists of beads that help guide the prayers. While I'm portrayed holding a rosary, it does not mean that I'm praying to myself. As a devout follower of my son, Jesus, I join others in prayer and direct my prayers to God. Just as Jesus taught us to pray to our Heavenly Father in Matthew 6:9. I love how Mary's quoting chapter and verse. I too pray to, she was there. I too pray to God for guidance, strength, and intercession. The rosary is a way for believers to reflect on key moments in the life of Jesus and seek his blessings through prayer. If you have any further questions, blah, blah, blah. This is very good.
I'm impressed.
I am too. This is going way better than I thought it would.
Way better. Like, we've got nothing funny to say. What do we do, Taylor? Wow. But you know what is interesting? How interesting that she talked about the rosary being a tool. And everybody's kind of swept up into this whole AI conversation and what is it going to be in the good and the bad. But as you do ministry, right? Like all the time.
Sometimes, yeah.
Every day. This is kind of interesting. Like, what if this actually becomes a tool, Taylor? Like,
oh man, it's making me a tool for sure. This is I don't want to do anything other than this now.
Seriously,
this is the podcast now.
This is reading. You know how they used to have like celebrities read mean tweets about themselves on like what was that? Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel or it was Kimmel. So this could be us reading. Jesus, conversations.
Chat GPT Jesus.
That's it.
All right, we're gonna do a couple more. Let's talk to somebody else. He really
likes this. He really,
this
like
is
this.
Really good. Okay, you can ask the question of
free?
Joseph, Peter, John the Baptist, Abraham, Moses, Noah, Job, or Esther.
Ooh, Esther.
There's only one other woman. I knew you were going to go with Esther.
I got to represent the gals.
You know anything about Esther?
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
She was a queen. What did she say? What did she first say?
She just said, I'm Esther, a character from the Bible.
A character?
Which is funny because like with the other two, they're like, you know who we are. So
Mary said the mother of Jesus.
Jesus didn't know who I was.
Right.
Esther doesn't know, is assuming we don't know who she is.
And she's right. We don't. But, she gets quoted a lot, especially right now, about you were made for such a time as this. Have you heard that quote? That's her.
I thought it was just something for Instagram ladies. I didn't know it was biblical.
It is biblical. And so I'd like to ask her about that.
I also thought it was Joan of Arc.
No, it's Esther. Let's ask her about that quote.
What's your most famous quote?
Oh, that's good. Ooh, what if she doesn't say this one?
That's what I hope. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
One of the most famous quotes attributed to me, it's attributed like she didn't actually say it. It's found in the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14.
See?
Obviously, you knew that. And who knows whether, this is the quote.
Okay.
And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this. This quote reflects my response to a difficult situation I faced. This is a theme. It reminds us that sometimes we are placed in certain positions or circumstances for a specific purpose, and it encourages us to trust in God's providence and timing. Is there anything else I can help you with? This is very good. I love this.
You do? Look at your face.
It's breaking my brain.
You're like, let's wrap this up so I can do this all day.
I don't know how I'm ever going to do show prep again.
You don't have to.
Why do show prep?
You don't. But you know what? This is literally the best. Oh my gosh. This is literally the mystical body of Christ in technology, modern form.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to ask Jesus what you just meant.
Okay, go ahead. Ask.
I'm not going to. He's not going to understand.
The mystical body of Christ that we're all still, that's why we can talk to saints and ask them to pray for us.
Oh, yes.
And, all the, that whole thing. I mean, look at this. This is like absolutely beautiful because you could have them actually teach you about them and whatever. I don't know.
Oh, man.
This is modern. Your brain, he's,
I'm
you're gone.
spinning.
You are gone.
I don't know how I'm ever going to pray again.
Right. Well, it was nice seeing you.
This is so.
There's no third segment today.
It's. I don't know how I'm going to do show prayer. I don't know how I'm going to pray again.
Yeah.
Because so much of prayer is just like, here's what I think.
Yeah.
And then silence. I get an immediate response with this. It is so for like the modern person and how my brain works. So I'm just like, I just got an answer.
It's super American. It's McDonald's.
American Chat GPT Jesus, the founding father of America.
And we're out. Yeah. No, that's brilliant.
And the Bernie Sanders because he fed everybody.
We've got to go into the other ones.
Oh man,
Your mind is you can't get over it.
I can't tell you how much fun this was for me. I hope you all enjoyed it.
I
can't tell you how much fun this was for me, but this might ruin my life. It might have just ruined me professionally and spiritually.
You're not gonna play the video games anymore. You're gonna just do this all day.
No, I'll text him in between rounds when I'm dead. I'm like, hey, I'll be
ask him how not to die on the game.
What happens to the soul of my character when he dies in video games?
Nice.
All right, well, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and do some stuff that I did with my last show prep ever because this is show prep from now on. Don't go anywhere. In the next segment, Liv and I are going to be talking about our thoughts on the big movie of the year, at least one of the two, Oppenheimer, half of the Barbieheimer. We're going to be talking about Oppenheimer. If you like movie reviews, Catholic movie reviews, you can check that out on our even more of them out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Forte Catholic, in our Catholic Perspective series, where we look at some of our favorite movies, TV shows, books, all that sort of thing from a Catholic view. We've also got other great things going on over on the YouTube channel, like this show that you are currently listening to. We've got Sinner Saint Sister, which is Allison Sullivan's podcast. I'm currently wearing her shirt, rocking that right now. Her newest season is all out right now. You can go watch it on our YouTube channel. Let's do it wherever you listen to podcasts. We've also got our Catholic Foundation series. We talk about foundations a lot. If you ever want to try it out, it's our 10-week introduction to Catholicism course, taught by me and a few of my friends here locally for our parish, and it's all recorded and on our YouTube channel. You can check all that out at youtube.com/Forte Catholic. Hit subscribe, watch it. We would really appreciate it. We hope that you enjoy it. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll.
He forgot who I was. Like Jesus on
Jesus doesn't know my name, and I don't either.
GPT.
All right. Well, as you can clearly tell, Chat GPT Jesus broke my brain. We're going to talk about Oppenheimer.
Yeah, and I'm Liv Harrison, by the way.
They know. They've been listening for a while.
They might not.
It's so stupid. I've been thinking about that for forever. There's no reason for me to do that anymore. It's just the old radio thing in me.
Yeah, it's nice.
Whatever.
It's nice. All right, yeah, we're going to talk about Oppenheimer.
It's like, we're still here, and it's still the same people. Okay. So you're a big movie person. I'm a big movie person.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
I haven't been to the movies much this year.
I've been a lot.
Nice. I'm happy for you. But the big movie event of the summer was a few weeks ago with Barbieheimer, right?
Right.
Barbie and Oppenheimer coming out the same weekend, and Tom Cruise being prideful enough to release his movie on the same weekend and not moving, and therefore he got crushed.
He opened way before that. I saw.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
It was the same weekend.
It was not the same weekend. I saw it way before. Let's make a bet. Ask Jesus.
Ask Jesus. We can't go back to this.
This is gonna be great.
No, because the whole thing was he didn't get any IMAX theaters because
Mission Impossible was way before that. So that way before those films. Anyway, go ahead. I've seen all of them.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tay.
I am currently, actually, by the time you're listening to this, I will have finished every Mission Impossible movie except for the one that just came out in theaters.
It's the best one.
I had never watched any of them, and my last trip to like Pittsburgh, Ohio, when I went up to Catholic Family Land a few weeks ago, I had watched one a few months ago, and then I watched 2, 3, and 4 on the planes.
Yeah.
I fly out tomorrow. So as you're listening to this past weekend, I fly out tomorrow, and I'll be watching the next Mission Impossibles on my flights to and from Pittsburgh. So because I'm going to see Father Anthony, and then I'm going to Catholic Family Land again to do the talk to the kitty kids. So
how long will you be gone?
I'm going to be with Father Anthony from Friday night through Monday, and then I'll go to Catholic Family Land from Monday through Tuesday, and then I'll fly back Wednesday morning.
Nice. And I fly out Thursday, so high five.
Yeah.
We'll miss each other.
Will we? So you're
gonna finish it.
Finally, yeah, I'm gonna go finish those, and then watch it when it comes to streaming, I guess. So, but I haven't seen Barbie, and because I've been traveling, and then I got sick, and we were busy. Like I haven't been to go see. I wanted to go see Barbieheimer that weekend,
sure, and
I still haven't seen Barbie, and I finally went to go see Oppenheimer yesterday. My sister is off on Wednesday. She came and watched the kids, so we could go watch a 3-hour movie in IMAX. We got to go see it in IMAX. Yeah. Did you know that one of the big stories was that the IMAX has been a lie our entire lives? Did you hear about this story?
No, why?
That the IMAX that Nolan filmed it on
is 70 mm.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
I don't know.
70 mm, 70 millimeter?
I don't even know the number.
But and there's only 2 in the state of Texas. 2 theaters.
Yeah. So I asked if you knew this, and you're like, no. And then you know more about me.
The live thing. I don't know what that means. I thought you meant like IMAX wasn't real. I see. Well, it's not. I see.
So there's only I don't know. It's like 18 or 20 theaters in the U.S. that are like true IMAX, like what he filmed it on. It's like we're seeing like a digital copy, which is what I thought we've been doing this whole time. I didn't know there were still theaters that used film.
I didn't understand what you were saying. Now I get it.
I thought it just emailed like a PDF, not a PDF, but like a file. I share this show is just digital files. So, I don't know.
I didn't know what that meant with the theaters that have 70 mm. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, so is it just more or less pixely? I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah,
now that makes sense.
I think it's just a snobby thing, which I'm surprised you didn't fly to some theater that has it to go see it.
But now I get it. Okay, thank you. You educated me.
We went and I forget what the last movie we saw in IMAX was, but IMAX is incredible, especially the audio is so much better. Usually in theaters, it's too quiet for me. We're old, so I watch everything with captions on at home.
Same.
So it's I need to be able to hear. But IMAX, it's you can hear IMAX.
You feel it.
Oh yeah.
You feel in IMAX.
Insane. So we knew we had to go see Oppenheimer in IMAX, but it had been a few weeks, so we were like, are we going to be able? We're trying to book times to see the movie on Wednesday, and on Monday night on Fandango, they still don't have IMAX times because it's been 2.5 weeks since the movie came out. And finally, on Tuesday, they put out IMAX times for Wednesday. So thank God. Because it's one of those movies where it's you want to watch it in IMAX, not at home. It's we have a nice TV, but it's certain movies you want to see on the big screen, right? And this is a big screen movie. So I went and saw it. You went and saw it. What'd you think?
I didn't. It was okay. And I'm a big movie person. I'm a huge movie person. I can talk about the things that I really loved about it. That wouldn't give anything away. But it wasn't, I don't think it was as hypey as it should have been. Like the film to me wasn't as fantastic as because people were losing their minds. They were like, this is Chris Nolan's best work. This is like all this stuff. And so
Meanwhile, The Dark Knight simply exists.
Yeah. I mean, and so I went in, I like Chris Nolan. He's not my favorite director, but he's not my least favorite director by any means, but there's a lot of his films that I love. We love The Dark Knight situation. But it wasn't my favorite Chris Nolan. And I went in so excited, so ready for this film. There were some, like I said, there were some parts that I really, really loved. But overall, I have been telling people, I'm like, if you have to see one film this summer, because I've seen them all.
Barbie.
No, actually. And I'm not a Barbie hater like other people, but Mission Impossible was the best film I saw.
All right, we're not talking about that. We're talking about
Oppenheimer. But you asked me my question, and that's what I would say to go see. But I want to hear what you have to say.
I might replace you as co-host with Jesus. I might.
You are killing
once
me.
a month. I'll just do.
He doesn't really want my opinion. He doesn't really want it.
No, I want
it
your
was okay.
opinion on Oppenheimer.
I just said it wasn't. I'm glad I saw it in IMAX for sure. I love the way he did
Fake
the
IMAX.
sound. I think there's too much music. He does wall-to-wall music, which is not my fave. And I like how he did the black and white. Honestly, I walked out there and I thought Robert Downey Jr. had the best acting performance. I thought it was a waste of Emily Blunt. I mean, I can tell you what I really think, but what do you think?
Emily Blunt's character was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I know.
It's still acting, but like the person she was playing as had no personality.
None.
So
yeah.
I don't know. It's just really strange.
Yeah.
But
there were a lot of holes in it for me, actually. But I felt that way about Interstellar.
A lot of holes when they dropped the bomb too.
That's not funny. I'm not gonna laugh at that. But go ahead. But I mean, it was historical, but it was a lot. It's hard to keep up. Nathan, my husband, wants to really read the book now. I mean, because he's like, come on, like that's incredible. But
I could see Nathan grabbing onto the story for sure.
But what did you think? I'm curious to know.
So I was super hyped for it, and like going in, like I knew about the Manhattan Project, I knew about the atomic bombs, but I didn't know anything about Oppenheimer. Like the first time I heard his name was when the movie was trailers were coming out, right?
Same.
So like I knew it was like, let's get all of our best scientists, and it's a race against Germany, Russia, whoever. Like I knew, like that's kind of what I knew, right? Like the bad guys, the race against the bad guys for who can do this first. So like that's kind of what I knew going in. And I knew the movie was going to be, my assumption was like, we're going to get to know this person that like most people don't know, history buffs know, but like the normal people don't know. And then we're going to like see them build the bomb, and then we're going to drop the bomb. And I thought that was going to be.
You thought it was going to end there.
I mean, like maybe because typically like the climax of a movie happens and then there's 10 minutes. Like that's all the Mission Impossible movies that I've been watching. There's the climax of the movie, and then the last 10 minutes is him walking off with a different woman every time. It makes me so angry.
You're going to love the new one. Go
ahead. And like it's just like, 10 minutes after it's like, oh, setting up the next thing or whatever. Yeah. But like, so what I didn't expect. So the first hour was it was kind of like one of those, it felt kind of slow in the first, this is 3-hour movie. The first hour felt kind of slow, but it was like, I guess kind of necessary, because it's like, it's getting us introduced to a character we don't, like we have already admitted, we don't know, right? So we're getting, I think the first hour is getting to know Oppenheimer, getting to know like his quirks, and that he's like probably the smartest man alive at the time. And not a, he has his personal qualms. He has things that are, he's a womanizer. He's prideful. He's like, but kind of like, I mean, nothing's surprising. It's like, that's kind of like what I assumed about the most brilliant people. They're kind of a little aloof and think they're better than everybody else and whatever. Don't think there are consequences to their actions. I've seen that before. So the first hour of the movie felt kind of slow. The second hour was all the ramp up to the bomb and the bomb, which is like, everybody knew that's what we were going for, right? Sure. And what I didn't know how they were going to do it, because obviously, like the dropping atomic bombs on Japan, it's like controversial things. I didn't know how they were going to do this in the movie, and it's just like it was mostly about the test,
right?
Like the first atomic bomb dropped. Mexico. Yeah, it wasn't in Japan; it was in New Mexico. Right. Like they dropped it there, so it was like I was like, that makes sense, right? But and so. the audio stuff on it was really good. Like there were some mixing issue. One of the things that I heard is like filming on IMAX is very loud.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that Nolan doesn't like doing is voiceovers after. So a lot of movies, they'll film it and then they do voiceovers in the studio after and just kind of overdub their mouths. But Nolan doesn't do that. Okay. But the problem with IMAX is that it's super loud. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons that they have music on under it. And one of the reasons that it was kind of hard to understand what they were saying sometimes, because he's like, I want to use their raw performance, not in a studio 6 months later. And IMAX is loud. So it's hard. It is kind of hard to understand. It's like, that was like my biggest frustration with the movie was the audio mixing. But then I like read some stuff after. I'm like, oh, I would still like subtitles, but it made me appreciate the filmmaking more, which is like one of the things with Nolan is like you appreciate his filmmaking, right? Like with Dark Knight, with this, with Inception, like it's just that sort of thing. The part of the movie that I did not see coming was the last hour. So like for me, it was like hour 1 setup, hour 2 is bomb, hour 3 is like political drama fallout from the bomb. We keep saying fallout, which is kind of funny because that's Fallout Shelter.
Got it.
Yeah. But that was the best part of the movie.
Really? That was your favorite part?
The bomb dropping was pretty cool. Like, did you know that there's no CGI in the movie at all?
Yeah, I knew that.
It's all
I knew that.
It's all.
That's what
real.
I was most excited about. I think that's what everybody was so excited about to see.
It looked incredible.
Yeah, he did a great job with that. Yeah.
But what I didn't see coming was that third. I almost said third half, third quarter, third half or third quarter, the third of the movie. It was like a political drama, and like it felt like, I don't think you've watched it, but like one of my favorite shows ever. It just ended. It was Succession. It felt like an hour long like season finale of Succession, where like political drama, everybody's conniving and moving pieces, and everybody's what do I like? That was the best part of the movie for me. Was like seeing, he's like, I built my bomb. Now I'm going to
defend
my legacy.
Yeah.
Against a jerk in RDJ.
It reminded me of Contact, the movie Contact.
Never saw it.
It's a phenomenal film. In fact, I think it's the most religious film that isn't religious. And people talk about that because that's not just my opinion. I think you'd really love it. And it reminded me of The Way We Were. Because that also is a political film at the end that you don't see coming. So, and it had to do with like the blackballing of McCarthy and all that with the Hollywood, writers and that kind of a thing. And so it kind of reminded me of those things that you see in film that are historical. And I do love that they did the whole, he told the whole story, because it's not like, and now we all went home and everything was fine, because that's not true. And so that was great, but also it was based on a book. So that's why I think it'd be interesting to go to the original source. The problem I had with the sound was it reminded me of a movie, There Will Be Blood. Did you ever see that film?
I hate that movie so much.
Okay. Same. And I cannot stand the sound in that film. The sound that they chose, because I'm a huge soundtrack person. I think Taylor knows that. I don't know if other people know that, but I'm like a geek about it. Like Alexander Desplat is my favorite composer.
Frozen soundtrack.
I hate you. Okay. Anyway.
Let it go.
It reminded me of There Will Be Blood. The way that Chris Nolan decided to use music in this film reminded me of that film. So not to the point where it made me hate it, but I just really didn't like it. But I really think that there was a lot of, I don't know. There was some interesting things that like just were confusing. And I know that they were trying to get a lot of information out because
you couldn't leave. It's a 3-hour movie. You couldn't leave because they're just like, it is just content drop over and over. And over and
but I have a question. I want to know, why do we credit Oppenheimer? Where honestly, I walked out of there thinking there was a character in there. You would know his name, but I don't. I can't remember his name. But he was the tall, and I think he was Hungarian.
I don't know any of their names.
I know, but he's like an actor. I
literally call all of them by their name. Like I was like, Cillian Murphy was talking to RDJ.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You would know this guy because apparently I went with my 20-year-old.
You're talking about the guy that was like trying to make the hydrogen bomb?
Yeah, the Hungarian guy.
Like they all looked. I didn't see that. They all looked at Oppenheimer. He was the one that brought it together.
He's the one that I felt like he was the one that kind of had the whole different thing. I just kind of walked out there going like, why does he get the credit? Because there was some
He's the
number
boss.
one, a huge team effort. And to me, I felt like that guy actually had the biggest contribution that then unlocked the next parts. But that was
It's
my
named
takeaway.
Oppenheimer, and my Cillian Murphy love. I
didn't
love
think he
that
was
guy.
the strongest performance.
God.
Did you?
Yes.
Really?
Oh God,
You
he's
thought
so
he was
good.
the strongest performance in that
Yes.
film?
I thought I didn't think RDJ was incredible until he started yelling at the end.
Huh.
I thought he was actually a little bit more muted, which his character's more muted, but
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing him as Iron Man, who's not a muted character.
Well, I thought he acted the most. You know what I mean? I
No.
thought that was the biggest for him because he wasn't the sly, he plays the same role.
I didn't think
this was new for him.
I kind of felt like they did the same thing with him that they did with Emily Blunt, didn't give him a ton until the end.
Okay.
When
Interesting.
So spoilers for the next 30 seconds. So if you haven't seen the movie, you don't want to get spoiled. Next 30 seconds, just hit forward. Yeah. But whenever you realize he's the bad guy, and it switches.
Yeah.
That's the moment where he finally gets to act. But that's 2 hours and 40 minutes into the movie. But the part that I really loved about the end was the conniving between those two, because typically the Cillian Murphy, the Oppenheimer character, is he's just a smart scientist. He doesn't know how to do other stuff.
Sure.
And he beats RDJ at his own game. And I loved the RDJ this whole time knew that Oppenheimer he's too good in front of people. And so he had to give him this private little not trial thing, this trial that's not a trial. And Cillian just flipped it on him. And he said, "Oh, you've been working in the shadows the whole time. I'm going to put these people out in front on your biggest public moment and take you out of the shadows." And so Oppenheimer still won in the public.
Yeah, he did.
Without him being there. And he sat in that private thing and took that entire lashing because of what Einstein told him. And just he won. The fact that you go back in that last hour and you realize that Oppenheimer knew he won the whole time. Yeah. Because he had sent Rami Malek. Again, I don't know any of their real names.
I know. I don't know anybody's name. I know. Right. I was like, wow, the guy from Queen is here.
And I was like, oh,
Freddie Mercury.
That's Papa from Stranger Things. The whole movie, we're like, Papa said that.
Exactly.
But I just love that and how he flipped everything.
Would you see it again?
I'm going to watch it again at home with subtitles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. But did you walk out of there going this was everything
I thought it was really
everybody
good.
thought you
I thought it was really good. So
is it your favorite Chris Nolan?
No, Dark Knight still is.
I agree.
And the Inside the Dreams one is second. Inception.
I was gonna say Inception. Yeah, Inception's brilliant. That's a brilliant film.
The final thing.
Yeah,
the last thing about it was the Prometheus connection.
Yeah, but that's the name of the book.
The best part of the movie.
That's the name of the book, American Prometheus, which is brilliant.
It's because I don't think I remembered. I love Greek mythology, and I listen. I listen to Myths and Legends podcasts. It's a lot about Greek mythology and other mythologies too from all over the world. And so it's I heard the Prometheus story at some point, but I didn't remember it. But he brought the world fire, right? And what. In the Greek myth, he brought the world fire, and fire was giving humans the ability to destroy themselves. And that was thousands of years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so it's brought up multiple times where he compares himself, now I'm become death, and he brought this fire to the world. And so I loved that part of the movie because going in, you're is this just going to be pro-American propaganda? Is it going to be anti-American propaganda?
Sure.
Right. And it was neither. It balanced both of them.
It was historical.
It showed that we were just watching Harry Potter yesterday. We were watching the first one with my daughter and Ollivander. So this is the first movie, first book. The guy that sells wands, right? He's talking about Voldemort. It's he did great things.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible, but great, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel that was very similar in this Oppenheimer movie. It's Oppenheimer did great things. He accomplished more than any scientist up to that moment, and heck, maybe even now, has ever accomplished, right? He was in charge of this entire project. Great things, terrible things, but great, right? And there was that balance of this was accomplished, but should it have been just with Prometheus, right? I thought that connection was it was just so good to connect our brains to the story that we've heard about Prometheus.
Maybe you should listen to the book.
I think I will.
I think you should. So let me ask you something. Do you think Oppenheimer received grace? Where do you think his soul? I mean, how do you carry that burden? You know what I mean? That's all I could think about when I walked out of there.
Cillian
Was
Murphy's
how
face.
did he
He's such a good actor.
carry that for the rest of his life?
I don't know. And like
Heavy.
it was really cool watching like one of the people's eyes so there was one guy at the beginning, one of the scientists that was one of Oppenheimer's friends, that like, it's like, I'm not coming to Los Alamos because like, I can't do it. Like bombs get dropped on the innocent and the guilty all the same. And Oppenheimer convinces him to stay.
Yeah.
And seeing his face when the bomb is dropped in Trinity, when the Trinity bombs dropped in Los Alamos, and then seeing his face when they find out that the bombs were dropped on Japan,
and the numbers
that
they did not expect.
Yeah, and like that was the big thing. It's like I don't even know. They like one of the questions that my wife and I had was like, did they even know about like? They knew it was going to explode. They kept like they didn't address.
What did they think was going to happen?
Like the radiation. Like I don't think they. I don't know if they knew it because the movie didn't tell me, right? Yeah. Because like they're just standing there 10 miles away from a atomic bomb.
I want to know if any of them got sick. That was one of the other things
I was
that
surprised
I thought about.
Oppenheimer made it to old age.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how sick did everybody in New Mexico get for real?
Right.
I mean, because obviously, they talk about that all the time, but like how, there's still radiation and whatever. But yeah, I came away with a lot of questions. I think what's great is it brought up conversation, especially about something. It is probably far enough that now we can start talking about it, and we should be talking about it. Right. Like, okay, this is a big deal. Thousands, multi of thousands of lives were killed this day,
right.
And after that day,
right.
And we are responsible for that as Americans. It's heavy, man.
I didn't do anything. I'm not responsible.
Listen,
I did crap. I'm not smart enough to do anything.
I don't know. It's kind of it's intense to think about.
I thought it was just really well balanced. Like there were like for any view on atomic bombs, any view on war, that any view on government was represented in the movie. So it's like it was like there were
rounded.
Yeah, like so I felt like everybody kind of got to have their say. I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to watching it again right here on this TV. So anyway, that's our show. I'm Taylor Schroll. I'll be back next week. Who knows when Liv will be back?
Great seeing you. See you next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye everybody. See you in August.
All right, I'll be back soon. See ya. Thank y'all for watching and listening today. We hope that you enjoyed the grand return of old Liv Harrison and the introduction of our new favorite segment, Texting with Jesus. That was so much fun for me. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as we did. If you did, please subscribe wherever you're watching or listening, and we will see you very soon. Love you.